Do you tend to think that, and I know you immigrated with your family, and also Canada was involved in your immigration. Do you think people come to America for the same reasons that they've always come to America, or have those been changing in some way?
Opportunity, man. I mean, people come to America for opportunity. Bottom line.
In monetary terms?
I hate to make it that plain, but yeah, I mean, people come. I mean, if you were to ask my parents why they brought their 3 boys to North America, because we came to the States first, it's all about opportunity. It's all about opportunity, and I think that if all that defines you is that you were born in this country and you were raised here, you don't understand. I mean, you don't have a clue, you know. And
when you travel around, you see.
Oh man, try being a citizen of another country. It's a totally different ball game. Be born and raised. Again, I'm not down talking my own country. I'm a proud Antiguan, but there are opportunities here that you will have that are just not available in other parts of the world, which is why the U.S. is still the largest, I mean, the most desired site for landing of an immigrant. It's here in America, because the opportunity you have here just outstrips everything else. And the freedoms you have here. I mean, I'm concerned for a particular type of freedom because I'm a pastor, so you know what type of freedom I want.
Right.
I want freedom of religion. I want freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. There are some countries.
Association,
there are some Western countries that would describe what I do every Sunday as hate speech.
Yeah.
Not in the U.S. Now, there are some people in the U.S. that would like it that way, but thank God it's not the case yet. But we don't understand the level of freedom. To me, you know, Pat, when I think about this, I think about a fish in water. You know, you always hear, does a fish know that he's in water? Probably not. We don't think that we're in the air, but we're moving around in the air. I don't know whether Americans understand freedom. That's kind of weird saying that in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, right? But when you live and move in this culture, you just assume.
Right.
You assume that
the default position is people should leave you alone and let you do what you want to do, and that you are free to actually go do what you want to do. That's the default position.
Yeah. You assume that walking out in the street and assembling and saying, I don't like this, it needs to change, is okay. You assume that you're not going to end up in jail. Now, some people say, well, the protesters end up in jail these last few weeks, but really, I mean, that was a different situation. It was
not for exercising free speech.
Yeah, it was
for the manner in which they did it.
The manner in which they did it. So, what you won't see in this country, and you know that I've said this in the past. What you won't see in this country is, if you get arrested and you're finally let go after they realize you didn't do anything, and you go home, your car is still in the driveway.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking your house. Why is that? Because you're allowed to assemble. You're allowed to dissent.
But some of that's changing, okay? Because you get people who say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, particularly if they do it on camera of some kind, and the culture is now, you know, fire them, dox them, you know, SWAT their house. We had somebody who was presumed guilty from everything we could see. The man looks guilty, though he hasn't been to trial yet. Well, his relatives are losing their job, you know, and that kind of thing. And that's not American, really, is it?
Well, you would know more than me. I'm not an American yet,
Yeah.
but I can say this: that's illegal. I mean, whatever you said about it, it's still illegal. In some countries, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
It's not illegal. That's okay. That's for you to lose your job because of something your relative did. That's Monday morning. I mean, nobody,
in other cultures,
nobody would be surprised.
Yeah.
Nobody would be shocked.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, what do you expect to happen?
Right.
And so that's why I'm saying most Americans, I think, don't understand freedom in the sense that immigrants understand it. I mean, people coming to this country are looking for something, and they oftentimes find it here in the U.S. that they couldn't find in their homelands. And so I think that you asked me the question: Are those things in the U.S. mindset on freedom and so on? Is it changing? I don't know if I know that it's not from an immigrant's vantage point. The immigrants still see this place as a place to come to, in spite of its warts, in spite of its problems, in spite of the racism that still exists in some places, in spite of the high crime in some areas. It's not a perfect country, and there isn't a perfect country on the face of the earth. But there are certain freedoms here, particularly for those of us who have concerns for religious freedom.